So this morning is a good morning. Democracy has been restored in Bolivia as the coup against Evo Morales and his party and the indigenous working class of that country has failed. It has failed. The effort by Justin Trudeau and Chrystia Freeland here in Canada, the corporate Democrats and Republican Party in the United States, the lithium companies world over, Elon Musk himself, everyone's favorite billionaire bad boy, they failed. They failed to overthrow a democratic socialist indigenous government in Bolivia. Because yesterday, overnight really, the MAS party, the party of Evo Morales, stormed back to power after they were illegitimately thrown out last election. Everyone tried to say here in Canada and the United States, most of the mainstream media, even some YouTubers that are seen as progressive, tried to suggest this wasn't a coup, this was the last effort to restore democracy because Evo Morales was trying to make himself a dictator. The people of the country no longer wanted a socialist government. The people of the country no longer wanted the party. And after that, the courts in Bolivia tried to get this party banned, effectively saying it wouldn't be allowed to run in the election. And all of that failed because the people in Bolivia could not be silenced. When the chips were down, the indigenous working class of that country was more powerful than Freeland and Trudeau and Musk and Trump and all the rest. The working class of Bolivia won. It's a beautiful story, guys. It's a beautiful story. And it could have only happened with a resounding victory, because if it was razor thin, they would have kept the coup. 100%. The fear was going to be that Morales' party under Luis Arce would win the first round. That was pretty much beyond dispute. They would win the first round. But in the second round, the other parties could coalesce and it would be really, really close. But not only did, the MAS party win the first round, they also won an outright majority on the first round, at least according to exit polls. They'll either be at a majority or extremely close to it. And so it looks like the results show a strong, unanimous victory effectively of the party of Evo Morales. And again, this is a moment where everyone needs to reckon with what they said or what they didn't say back at the end of last year. If they stayed silent on this or defended this coup, they need to apologize to the people of Bolivia, to Evo Morales, to democracy, basically, to the idea that people have a right to run their own country, and that the price of lithium and the availability of lithium is not more important than the rights of indigenous working class people in Bolivia. They need to acknowledge that. But you're not going to hear that. You're probably going to get radio silence from all of the people that backed this coup. If Morales would have lost, they would have touted it to the world that, they made the right choice. Morales and Arce lost. The party was rebuked. We were right to support the coup because it gave democracy breathing room. And they're not going to say anything like that. They're going to stay silent. Guys, this is a great moment for democracy, not just in Bolivia, but across Latin America, across the developing world, and frankly, everywhere. Because as long as democracy is imperiled somewhere, it is at risk everywhere. That's something we have to remember. When they did what they did in Bolivia, it makes it possible, however unlikely, that it could happen to people where we live, in Western developed nations. We need to have democracy strong everywhere for it to be strong here, especially over the long term. Now, I want to leave you with one clip, because there was one real one in the United States. Here in Canada, we had the NDP. We had Jagmeet Singh and MPs like Matthew Green and Nikki Ashton and Don Davies call out this coup. But, in the United States, among the big leaders, it was really only Bernie that was unequivocal about it. And he made it clear that Evo Morales did good for Bolivia and that he was undemocratically overthrown. I'm glad to see Morales will be able to come back to his country. He won't be in power because he's not the president anymore, but he'll be able to live in a country that he knows he made better, and he knows the people love him. So I'm going to leave you with that clip by Bernie.
You wrote in a tweet that you thought it was a military coup, what happened in Bolivia. Many people have other point of view. They think that Evo Morales had been in power 14 years, that he wanted 5 more, and that he wanted to become a dictator. So what do you think?
No, I don't agree with that assertion. I think Morales Morales did a very good job in alleviating poverty, in giving the indigenous people of Bolivia a voice that they never had before. Now, we can argue about his going for a fourth term, whether that was a wise thing to do.
And they always thought it was a fraud, the election on October the 20th.
Some people think that as well. But at the end of the day, it was the military who intervened in that process and asked them to leave. When the military intervenes, Jorge, in my view, that's called a coup.
Senator Sanders, thank you so much for being here.
Okay. Thank you all.